We're so glad to have you here with us. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I have been practicing this speech, and each time I get further before I start crying. So I'm just going to say this is going to be a very deeply personal story, and so I'll try to keep it together. It's such a joy to be here with all of you, my colleagues, my friends, and community partners who share a deep commitment of caring for the most vulnerable among us. When I think about the Olympia Free Clinic, I think about hope, the kind of hope that sustains people when everything else has been stripped away. And for me, that story of hope began a long time ago in Vietnam, where I was born, the 9th child of 10. My family fled Vietnam just weeks before the fall of Saigon. At the time, my mom was pregnant with my youngest sister. We escaped with nothing but the shirts on our back and the hope of finding safety and freedom. Because my dad worked with the CIA during the war, our family was among those allowed to evacuate. We climbed aboard a US military B-52 bomber, with the bombs removed, of course. Families just packed in like sardines. We flew to Guam, the closest American base, and eventually to Fort Chaffee in Little Rock, Arkansas, one of several refugee camps for Vietnamese immigrants. From there, we were sponsored by a kind Methodist family, the Brunos, in Oklahoma City, who let us live in their basement until we could get on our own feet. My dad worked double shifts, and my older siblings took whatever jobs they could find, maid, janitor, assembly line work. We worked very hard, we learned English, and slowly began rebuilding our lives. Eventually, we moved to the San Francisco Bay Area, San Jose to be exact, because we heard there was a huge Vietnamese population there. And for a short time, we were on welfare. But 2 years later, my dad thanked the government for their support and told them that we don't need welfare assistance anymore. I remember him telling me years later, when I was older to understand, that it was one of his proudest moments. Our family became naturalized US citizens when I started junior high, and my dad marked that milestone in his own way. You see, my family members who had difficult to pronounce Vietnamese first names got a chance to change their name into a more American name. And so mine stayed the same, of course, because I was just Kim. But my dad changed his to Boja, and it's an acronym for Brave Old Dad Joins America. That spirit of hard work, gratitude, and resilience became the foundation of our family. My interest in medicine began when I was 5 in Oklahoma City, after a bike accident where my foot got caught in the wheel spokes while I was riding in the back of the bike with my older brother. Actually, we were going to a Halloween haunted house in the neighborhood. A local family physician, Dr. Wright, provided pro bono care for my foot injury, and his compassion truly inspired me. That experience demonstrated the essence of humanism in medicine and has remained a guiding principle throughout my life. Subsequently, I pursued pre-med at Stanford. While applying to medical school, though, I was at a crossroads. Go to medical school, take on more debt, or accept a job offer at an exciting biotech startup. With the economic downturn at the time and the obligation to contribute financially to my family, the choice made sense to go the startup route. And it paid off, literally. 2 years afterwards, I successfully paid off my college loans after having 2% of the company in stock options. But life has a funny way of calling us back to what we're meant to do. My path back to medicine came through a series of devastating family illnesses. My youngest sister was a bright, young financial advisor in New York. After returning home from a trip to Cozumel, she contracted viral encephalitis that caused seizures and damaged both hippocampi in her brain. She could no longer form new memories, and her promising career in finance came to an abrupt end. As I began preparing to reapply to medical school, this time as a non-traditional student. My dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, likely related to his Agent Orange exposure during the war. He died just 3 months later with mets to the liver. Then my mother passed away less than 3 years after him, from what we can tell was a broken heart. And just months before I was accepted into med school, my oldest brother died unexpectedly at the age of 57, while on his road to a full recovery from reactivation of latent TB, likely contracted when he was in Vietnam. These darkest moments reinforced my conviction that medicine was my true calling. I attended medical school in Yakima, stayed there to train in a community-based family medicine residency program, and after finishing, I moved to Olympia to start my own solo, private, direct primary care practice from scratch. Without family in the area other than my husband and my best friend from med school, Dr. Elia Cole, who happened to land in Olympia at the same time. In January 22, I held the clinic's open house with 0 patients. But I built it 1 patient at a time, all word of mouth. 2 years later, I paid off all of my med school private loans, and my practice now is waitlisted since March. And through it all, since high school, through every career turn, every new community, I've always made time to volunteer. My mother used to tell us, if you have the skills and the knowledge to help others, then thank God that you're able to use them. Volunteerism at its core is an act of gratitude. When we give our time, our skills, our resources, we acknowledge that we've been given something ourselves, and we choose to pay it forward. At the Olympia Free Clinic, we serve those who fall through the cracks, the uninsured, the underinsured, the recently laid off, the newcomers to our community who don't yet know where to turn, people who are hardworking, caring for loved ones, trying to make ends meet, but can't afford the care that they need. We offer them dignity, compassion, competent care, without judgment, without bureaucracy, without charge. We don't ask for an insurance card. We ask, how can we help? Every time I volunteer, I'm reminded of that benevolent family doctor in Oklahoma City, and of my parents' courage, and of how much one act of kindness can change the trajectory of someone's life. And now as we look ahead, the stakes are even higher. In the coming year and beyond, tens, even hundreds of thousands of Washingtonians may lose access to health care due to cuts in Medicaid, ACA subsidies, and other safety net programs. The need of our clinic services will grow dramatically. But here's the good news. We already have the space, the structure, the partnerships. We already have the heart and the will. We need more hands, more resources. So this morning, as we enjoyed our breakfast and fellowship, I want to leave you with a simple but important ask. If you can, volunteer your time. You can help in so many supportive functions, not just clinical care. If you can, donate. Every dollar directly funds essential meds, supplies, and the infrastructure that keeps the clinic going. Whatever you can give, time, money, advocacy, it matters. It truly changes lives. And as I look out into the room tonight, this morning, I see people who care, people who believe, as I do, that every person deserves dignity, compassion, and access to care. Because you never know someone's story. You never know what hardships they face, and certainly what potential lies within them. The challenges ahead will be great, but together we can meet them. We can make our community stronger, we can give hope where it's needed most, and we can ensure that the Olympia Free Clinic continues to stand as a beacon of hope and humanism in healthcare. Thank you for your continued support.